In the hot dust, the sound of rattles is eerie. Death is approaching. What nightmare makes venomous snakes so terrified? Can it escape? Arizona desert, deadly snake battle. It is dawn in the Arizona desert. The first pale light creeps through the dark purple horizon, painting a world of half light and half darkness. The cold sand still has a bit of night dew, but in just a few hours the blazing sun will turn this place into a giant furnace. In that quiet moment, the eerie sound of the rattle's tail. Rattlesnake. A reptile that carries a weapon that makes the whole land wary. Its body is thick, nearly 2 meters long, its dark mottled scales blending perfectly with the surrounding sandstones. The flat triangular head, the cold golden brown eyes, and the rattle tail vibrating with a creepy sound. It is both a warning and a song of death. It is not a hunter. Its habit is to hide and wait. With extremely sensitive heat-sensing organs on both sides of its mouth, it can detect the warmth of its prey even in the dark. Once it has identified its target, it coils its body like a spring, waiting for the decisive moment. In just 1/10 of a second, its hollow fangs inject a paralyzing venom and destroy the blood. Each bite is a death sentence. Nearby, a small figure leaves the cave to find food. Small as a fist, its light brown fur helps it blend into the sand. Its large ears always swivel to catch the sound of its predator. It hops nimbly on its strong hind legs, digging for seeds and dry grass left after a long night. In the chain of survival here, that small creature is the main source of life for many species, and also the familiar prey of the deathbedder hiding in the sand. The desert kangaroo stopped, its whiskers quivering as if in rhythm with the dry wind. It tilted its head, listened, then bent down to dig in the sand to find grains. Everything seemed peaceful, but each grain of sand below was hiding death. The snake's head was raised, its sharp eyes locked on the target. Just one opening. Just one out-of-rhythm breath. In a split second, the bite was launched. In the moment of life and death, instinct spoke up. Quick reflexes helped the desert kangaroo escape death, disappearing into the grass. Behind was the rattlesnake, its eyes watching. Failure did not discourage it. With deadly patience, it quietly crouched down, waiting for another opportunity. In this desert, even the venomous one must accept the times when the prey escapes its claws, so that the cycle of survival can continue. But losing to a small prey is not the biggest danger for the rattlesnake. In this harsh land, there is always another one lurking. Slithering through the hot sand and gravel, a long, graceful body brings a threat. The king snake. The killer of venomous snakes. Its body is sleek with alternating black and white stripes, standing out against the burning sand. Unlike the threatening hiss of the rattlesnake, the presence of the king snake is a deadly silence. What makes it formidable is not its venom, because the king snake is completely venomless. Its weapons are its supple muscles and suffocating squeeze. Even more terrifying, it possesses the ability to be immune to the venom of most snakes, including the deadly bite of the rattlesnake. This makes it the only challenger that dares to charge straight into death without retreating. This species always hunts and squeezes its prey until the last breath is cut off. It does not shy away from the venomous snake, but actively pursues it. And now, as its shadow glides across the sand, a confrontation is inevitable between the rattle-bearing death and the uncrowned king of the desert. The sunlight shines down on the Arizona desert. The sun rises, tearing through the thin mist. The temperature is climbing by the minute, turning the ground into a fiery mirror, signaling a harsh day. The two predators face off on the glowing sand. The rattlesnake coils its body, head raised, venomous fangs ready to strike a fatal bite. The king snake did not flinch. The air was tense and suffocating. A lightning-fast charge. The king snake had the upper hand. The crazy bell rang and then stopped. The hunter had now become the prey. The venom that was once a deadly weapon suddenly became useless against the immune opponent. In this world, even death sometimes became a feast for others. However, one death was never enough to extinguish the whole lineage. Beneath the burning sand, a new generation was wriggling in the darkness. Deep in the rock crevices, the wintering den of rattlesnakes, which could number more than 100, still existed as a testament to the fierce vitality. There, the tiny babies developed inside their mother's body and were born directly, already carrying terrifying weapons, poisonous fangs. Unlike many other snakes that must find their own way soon after hatching, baby rattlesnakes are protected by their mothers until they are strong enough to hunt for insects, lizards, and small rodents on their own. Gradually, each individual leaves the nest, beginning their own journey, carrying with them the deadly instincts of their ancestors. Each year, when mating season arrives, the males engage in fierce constrictions to compete for the right to pass on their bloodline. The winner wins the opportunity, and the cycle of life continues, despite the harsh heat and lurking enemies. The desert may drown countless creatures, but for rattlesnakes, it is also where they have existed for millions of years. Even when one individual falls prey to another, somewhere under the burning sand, the rattles still vibrate, signaling that life continues, the eerie but eternal music of the Arizona desert. But the Arizona desert is not just the domain of venomous slithers. Under the sunlight shining on the cactus on the dry sand, a small but reckless shadow glided on its feet. A Roadrunner. A strange and famous running bird of this land. Its body is only about half a meter long. Its long, sturdy legs make up most of its weight, helping it run at an outstanding speed, more than 30 km/h. Its gray-brown feathers are mottled with the color of the ground. Its wings can spread out but rarely fly because its real strength lies in its agile legs. Its sharp beak, slightly curved forward, is a weapon to both peck and pin down its prey. The Roadrunner's habit is to move continuously on the ground, looking around for the smallest movements. Its food is very diverse, from insects, lizards, small mice to young snakes. When hunting, it takes advantage of its overwhelming speed, rushing straight at its opponent, pecking continuously at the head or nape, making its prey dizzy. If it encounters a snake, it uses its beak to grip tightly, slamming it down hard on the ground until its opponent is immobile. The venom is not strong enough, the body is still weak, they easily become a full feast for this speedy predator. And when the blazing sunlight spreads across the desert, the long-legged warrior begins its hunting journey. Nearby on the sand dotted with thorns, a strange creature lies pressed close to the ground. It is a horned lizard. A small reptile with a fierce appearance. Its body is flat, its back is covered with rough scales like armor, the head protrudes sharp spikes like horns, making it look like a tiny warrior of the desert. Its round, alert eyes dart back and forth, each breath rising and falling slightly with its chest. It has sensed it. Wisely, it burrowed into the hot sand. Away from the imminent danger. The grayish-brown scales blended so perfectly with the surrounding rocks that it almost disappeared. Roadrunner sprinted past, a small, agile figure leaving a trail of sand behind it. Sharp eyes scanned the landscape, catching every tiny movement. Then it stopped. Ahead, in the shadow of a cactus bush, a triangular head rose from the sand. The familiar desert rattle tail quivered again. The young rattlesnake just left the nest, its body smaller but already carrying venom. Still coiled, its yellow-brown eyes fiercely staring straight at the approaching predator. Without a second of hesitation, the Roadrunner stretched its body, its legs kicked off the sand. sharp beak swooped down like a knife blade. A few decisive strikes, the snake's body slammed into the dry, cracked ground. The rattled tail vibrated in protest, then gradually quieted down. The Roadrunner squeezed its prey with its beak, its eyes shining in the bright sunlight. A small, fast warrior of the desert turned into a nightmare for the deadly reptile. Winning the hunt is just part of a harsh life cycle. For the Roadrunner, survival is not just about hunting instincts, but also about the journey to maintain the species in the arid land. During mating season, the males begin to perform spectacular runs, wings spread wide, beaks holding insects or lizards as a marriage gift. A deep hoarse cry echoes across the dry, hot steppe, signaling the pairing. When the female nods in acceptance, the two will find a place to build a nest together. The Roadrunner's nest is usually located in thorn bushes, cacti, or on low branches, made of dry branches, weeds sometimes lined with feathers and debris from nature. The female lays 2 to 6 eggs. The shells are as pale as sand. For many weeks, the male and female take turns incubating the eggs, protecting the nest from predators such as crows or snakes. And when the chicks hatch, with sparse feathers and eyes not yet open, the parents take turns foraging, bringing each insect and each piece of lizard to raise. But the ground has never been the only safe place. High above in the fiery sky, the shadow of its wings spreads wide, sweeping across the sand, casting down on the sand. The ruler of the sky is watching every move. Harris hawk, the famous predator of the desert. Body length from 45 to 60 centimeters, wingspan nearly a meter wide. They have a neat but strong body. The main plumage is dark brown, the wings are dotted with bright brick red patches, and the black tail is bordered with a prominent bright white stripe. The bright yellow eyes are always sharp, searching for every small movement on the hot sand. What makes Harris hawk special is its rare social behavior in the world of predatory birds. While most other species hunt alone, Harris works together in groups of 3 to 6 individuals. They coordinate their roles. One swoops down to harass, the others circle or block the way, cornering the prey. Thanks to the hunting tactics of a pack, Harris can take down targets many times larger than himself, from hares, quail to even desert snakes. Breeding season comes in early spring. They often choose large thorn bushes, tall saguaro cacti, or sturdy tree branches to build nests of dry twigs, leaves, and feathers. In the fiery skies of Arizona, the image of a family of hawks is a testament to intelligence and group cohesion. What makes this bird one of the most formidable hunters on the planet? In the dry sand, a long shadow glides. The jackrabbit. With long, erect ears and stretched hind legs, it can sprint at speeds exceeding 60 kilometers per h. It is a master of desert escape, relying on its jumping power and agility to outwit any predator. With their long, slender bodies and ears that stretch nearly a third of their length, they not only help dissipate heat under the scorching sun, but also help them hear the slightest noise from predators. Their long, muscular hind legs allow jackrabbits to reach speeds of more than 60 kilometers per h, and their sudden sharp turns make them a formidable challenge for any predator. However, even speed has its limits when faced with predators that know how to work together. High above, a group of Harris hawks circle, their bright yellow eyes locked on the evading figure. The hunt is on. The legendary leaping power is now meaningless before the perfect coordination. Jackrabbits struggle, then freeze on the burning sand. The blazing sunlight reflects on the sharp yellow eyes of the victor. The feast is not only to feed the adults, but also to be torn into pieces and brought back to the nest. The reward for the young Harris hawks is waiting to learn their first survival lesson. On the same stretch of sand, 3 survival formulas collide: venom, constriction, speed, and the shadow of their wings. The desert is unforgiving. All of this creates a fierce vortex where the battle is not only between the snakes themselves, but also extends to the entire ecosystem. The predators can become prey, the weak sometimes escape, and both the sky and the ground become endless battlefields. In this battle for survival, which species do you think is truly the king of the Arizona desert? Leave your thoughts in the comments. If you love the life and death confrontations of snakes in harsh places, subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss the next episode. In the quiet darkness of the jungle, a creature silently slithers by. No footsteps, no gasps. But its coldness can make the heart of its prey skip a beat. Snake, silent killer machine. Asia, Africa, South America. The lands of dense rainforests, vast grasslands, flooded swamps, or hot sandy deserts all have the same silhouette slithering silently. A species of invertebrates like living streams, present on almost every continent, every environment. From the deep caves of the jungles of Southeast Asia to the dry, rocky crevices of the Middle East, from the Amazon swamps to the Kalahari Desert, their traces are always there, but rarely detected. Snake. The ancient embodiment of primal instinct. No legs, no arms, no ears, yet snakes are among the most successful predators nature has ever created. In a sparse forest in southern India, sunlight filters through the leafy bushes like a spotlight. A king cobra, its olive-colored body streaked with pale white stripes, slithers silently close to the ground. It is not looking for mice. It is not aiming for birds. It is hunting another snake. Ahead is another snake, just as venomous, but smaller, faster. Sensing the approach, the snake turns its head, threatening. But to the king cobra, that warning is like a gentle breeze blowing through its thick scales. In the blink of an eye, the attack is like an arrow. The king cobra lunges. Its fangs sink deep into its opponent's body. The other snake writhes, coils, but the venom has already begun to spread. In less than a minute, the muscles are paralyzed. The victim's body relaxes, limp as a severed rope. No need to squeeze. No need to attack further. The king cobra slithers around the prey, probing, then begins to swallow, starting from the head. Its jaws open like living hinges, the sliding joints allowing it to pull the snake in bit by bit, one body swallowing the other, like a deadly spiral of nature. It takes nearly 15 minutes for the entire snake body to disappear into the long body of the predator. A slight bulge on the belly is the only remaining sign that the deadly battle has just ended. In the world of snakes, it is not the species with the most powerful venom that becomes king. It is the one who dares to kill its own kind and eat them. On this planet, there is hardly a hidden corner where a snake has not set foot, no put, its body. From the burning sand dunes of the Sahara, the salt marshes of the Amazon, the dense rainforests of Southeast Asia, to the snow-capped high mountains of Central Asia, snakes are present as an indelible code of survival. They live in mouse holes, tree holes, rock roots, termite mounds, and even in houses. Wherever there is prey, there is a snake. Wherever there is life, there is a pair of unblinking eyes, watching from the darkness. Anatomically, snakes are the embodiment of extreme minimalism, but surprisingly effective. No legs, no external ears, no eyelids, but in return, they possess a skeleton consisting of 200 to more than 400 vertebrae, each of which is a flexible link that allows the snake to slither across sand, climb trees, swim in water, slither up cliffs, and silently squeeze its prey in the blink of an eye. Snakes' eyes never blink, because they have no eyelids. A transparent layer of scales called eyeglasses covers the cornea, both protecting them and making their gaze more lifeless and external ears. No need. Snakes perceive the world through vibrations transmitted through their bodies, as delicate as touching sound. The forked tongue is constantly extended, not to taste, but to smell the air. Each flick of the tongue sends odor molecules to the Jacobson's organ in the roof of the mouth, where the chemical information is processed with the cold precision of a killing machine. Some species, such as pit vipers and king cobras, can also see heat, thanks to infrared organs on either side of their heads. In total darkness, they hunt by detecting the heat signatures emitted by rodents, birds, and frogs, and strike without the need for light. Without the fangs and claws of a lion, without the superior musculature of a cheetah, snakes have evolved two main hunting strategies, each a cold slash down the food chain. In the reptile world, some creatures choose to evolve to be stronger, faster, or larger. But others take a different path, quiet, precise, and poisonous. Species like rattlesnakes, cobras, and kraits are masters of biological weapons. Their hollow, needle-like fangs are connected to venom glands containing hundreds of deadly proteins. They don't need to fight for long. They don't need to chase. Just one peck is enough to inject a deadly dose into their opponent, silently but irreversibly. Neurotoxin paralyzes the nervous system. Hemotoxin breaks down blood vessels, causing blood to seep through each capillary like water dripping through a tree root. Myotoxin dissolves muscle tissue from the inside, causing flesh to rot while the heart is still beating. A bite from the oriental taipan, the most venomous snake on the planet, contains enough venom to bring down a full-grown buffalo in just a few dozen minutes. For smaller animals, death comes as quickly as the blink of an eye, without struggle or cry. In the world of snakes, it is just a reminder, and also a sentence. Pythons and boas do not have venom, but they do not need it. They rely on a more primitive weapon, muscle. Along the length of their bodies are hundreds of flexible muscle bundles, as strong as steel cables. When the prey is held tight, each ring of muscle gradually tightens, not breaking bones, not crushing organs, but strangling the heartbeat, squeezing with each beat of life. With each heartbeat, there is a stronger squeeze. Not fast, not fierce, but steady and sure, until the opponent's life is extinguished like a lamp in the wind. Dawn has just begun. The first rays of sunlight had not yet dried the dew on the grass, when the forest on the edge of the swamp became restless. A young antelope, bewildered and thirsty, stepped down to the dry stream with cautious steps. There was no roar, no rustle, no sign of death lurking under the rotten leaves. Under the roots that twisted like withered arms, a creature nearly 6 meters long awaited the right moment, its cold eyes opened only by a narrow slit. It was an African rock python, one of the most dangerous ambushers on this continent. When the antelope lowered its head to drink, nature held its breath. No warning. No hesitation. In the moment when the prey was not alert, the entire giant body sprang up like a living spring. In an instant it wrapped its prey in cold, lasso-like muscles. The antelope struggled wildly. But with each spasm, the grip tightened. A choked gasp could be heard, then faint, as the lungs were squeezed, blood no longer reaching the brain, the heart beating more and more weakly. "10 minutes. "20 minutes. Death came slowly but surely, like a dark, deep song gradually coming to an end. When the antelope's body had softened, the python slowly loosened its grip. Not out of pity, but because now, it was time for it to eat. The python's lower jaw separated, each flexible joint sliding out to encircle the prey's head. Without biting, without tearing, without chewing, it swallowed. Bit by bit, the meter-long body of the antelope slid deep into the python's throat, as if being pulled into a living black hole. On one side was the gradually cooling corpse, on the other side was the biological machine operating in silence. The process could last for hours, but the python was in no hurry. After this feast, it could go weeks, even months without eating. Feeding for pythons, and many snakes, is a highly sophisticated art form. Their jaws can open almost 180 degrees, thanks to their unique jaw structure, allowing them to swallow prey larger than their own body diameter. Once the prey is in their stomachs, the digestive system is activated, producing more acid, enzymes, and heat, causing all the flesh, skin, organs, and bones to disintegrate. Just a few days later, all that remains in the feces may be a few pieces of horn, the last traces of a living creature. On the surface, snakes and pythons may appear slow, even clumsy. But behind that silence lies a sophisticated killing system, honed and perfected over tens of millions of years of evolution. Not for brutality, but for absolute efficiency. But in the reptile world, there is no room for complacency. Whether they are silent predators, possessing deadly venom, or unforgiving constrictions, snakes are not invulnerable. Every creature, no matter how dangerous, is a link in the chain, and in the sky, there are eyes watching every tiny movement. Not all predators come from the ground. At midday on the coral reef coast of the western Indian Ocean, the water spreads out like a silver mirror. The ripples reflect a light that is both soft and fierce. Beneath the water, a black and white striped sea snake gently bends with the tide. Nearly 1.5 meters long, its body as supple as a living silk ribbon, it had just finished off a young grouper and was making its way back to the coral for shelter. With venom many times more potent than that of a cobra, it was the ruler of these waters, at least while it was still below the surface. But above, where the deep blue sky stretched endlessly, there was a pair of eyes watching unblinkingly, the eyes of a hunter even more silent and deadly than itself. The sea eagle, a bird of prey with a wingspan of more than 2 meters, was circling high in the bright sunlit sky. From a height of dozens of meters, its dagger-sharp eyes detected a gliding movement below the surface of the water. The snake's body was clearly visible under the clear waves like a black arrow slithering. In a single flap of its wings, it tilted, retracted its wings, and plunged through the water. In less than 10 seconds, the prey was carried high, struggling helplessly, reflecting the sunlight like a strip of death. And the snake became a meal for the young eagles. The battle just ended with a perfect sequence of actions, cold as instinct and as precise as a ritual that had been repeated for millions of years. The sea snake, with its deadly venom, once ruled the coral reef. But in the moment it was pulled away from its habitat, all those advantages turned out to be burdens. On land, the snake was death. In water, the snake was an assassin. But in the sky, where the light exposed every movement, it became prey, as easily torn apart as any other creature. And so the food chain continued to revolve. The snake was not only death, but also prey. In nature, strength lies not in venom or muscle, but in balance. And the strongest cannot look up at the sky for too long. And inside that biological machine designed for killing, there is another mechanism hidden, primitive, fierce but no less sophisticated, the instinct to maintain the species. The first rainy season knocks on the forest door. The storm not only awakens the grass and trees, but also lights a fire deep inside each individual reptile. From under the layer of rotten leaves, the female snakes begin to secrete pheromones, an invisible but powerful chemical signal spreading through the wind, the ground, and even the vibrations of the world. The male snakes, even hundreds of meters away, can still track that trace with their forked tongues, not to taste, but to smell the desire to prolong life. And when a female snake officially enters ovulation, the strangest sight in the reptile world takes place: the mating snake ball, a living coil where dozens of males wrap tightly around a female, competing for the only chance to mate. The fight still silently took place in every movement, the jostling, squeezing, and changing positions constantly, like a complex problem of endurance and patience. A large male approached the tail of the female, seemingly about to succeed, but was replaced by another opponent in just a split second. It's not the biggest guy who wins. It's the most persistent, the most skillful, and the one who waits for the right moment. Finally, one male manages to connect his two tails. A brief connection, but enough to transmit life. The rest gradually let go, slithering away in silence. The male snake's genitals are a pair of semi-penis, hemipenis, often with spines or hooks, that help hold on tightly during the mating process that lasts for tens of minutes, even hours. They don't collide violently, just two bodies entwined together quietly under the forest canopy, in caves, or between tree roots, like an ancient ritual that has been repeated over millions of years of evolution. Depending on the species, snakes can reproduce by eggs, or give birth directly. Species such as rat snakes, water snakes, or even pythons also lay eggs in tree holes, termite mounds, or moist soil. Each nest containing dozens to hundreds of eggs, with soft shells that need ambient temperature to hatch. On the contrary, red-tailed vipers, pythons, or sea snakes choose to give birth. The young ones emerging are ready to slither away, severing all ties. No arms to protect. No care. From the very first moment, the young ones have to face the world on their own, where every sound can be a sign of death. Every movement carries the smell of death. They are not taught how to hunt. No one shows them the way to escape. All skills are trained by life itself. And the first task is to survive. But not all are lucky enough to be born. On a humid day in the tropical forest, in the middle of a mound of earth mixed with tangled tree roots, a female python is quietly laying eggs. Each soft egg is placed in the warm ground, lightly covered with a layer of rotten leaves like a makeshift blanket to protect the life. But nature does not allow weakness. Just a few hours later, a rustling sound rang out from the edge of the forest. A huge monitor lizard, with its tongue constantly flicking out like a biological radar, had caught the scent of the eggs. It crawled close to the ground, quietly slipping through the low bushes, its eyes cold, as if it knew exactly where its prey was. In the blink of an eye, its sharp claws tore off the cover. And in just a few minutes, the nest was completely destroyed. The dreams that had not yet begun were mercilessly devoured. The American raccoon also participated in this battle for survival. It was also an egg hunting expert. In the eyes of those people, snake eggs were not a budding life, but just a protein-rich meal lying quietly in the ground. And so, not all eggs hatched into baby snakes. As for the survivors, they would have to continue to overcome the next challenges, the times facing the sharp claws of the eagle. The life cycle of a snake, from conception to adulthood, from mating to death, is a series of cruel choices that nature allows no room for error. Keeps spinning, over and over again, like the silent but steady beat of life on Earth. Snakes are not only silent killers, but also the primal symbol of life, death, and rebirth. They remind us that in nature, there is a reason for all silence, and power lies not in noise, but in steadfastness, subtlety, and efficiency. If you are fascinated by mysterious biological machines like snakes, leave a comment below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share to join us in discovering more secrets hidden deep in the wild world.